Have you ever experienced a sudden, inexplicable thought about someone, only for them to call or message you moments later? Have you ever felt a deep, invisible pull toward another person, later discovering that they had been thinking about you at the same time? These experiences might seem like coincidences, but in reality, they hint at something far more profound: the interconnection of minds beyond space and time. In Buddhist and Zen philosophy, everything in the universe is interconnected. Our thoughts do not merely exist within the confines of our skulls. Rather, they extend beyond us, resonating through the vast field of consciousness that links all beings. If two people share a strong karmic tie, their thoughts may merge in this invisible realm. But how do you know if you and another person are truly thinking of each other at the same moment? There are two undeniable signs that transcend logic and delve into the depths of intuition, energy, and the very nature of thought itself. A young seeker once approached a Zen master, troubled by an unspoken connection with someone who constantly occupied his thoughts. He noticed that whenever he thought of this person intensely, they would reach out to him, or he would hear about them in unexpected ways. Was this merely chance, or was there something more at play? The Zen master responded with a simple yet powerful demonstration. He placed 2 candles on a table and lit one. Then with a single breath, he extinguished it. To the seeker's astonishment, the flame of the second candle flickered, trembling as though touched by an invisible force. The master smiled and explained, "True connection does not require words. When 2 minds overflow with the same thought, they spill into each other's world." The sudden pull of the soul. There are moments when a sudden thought of someone strikes like lightning, unexpected, unprovoked, and powerful. This is not a fleeting memory, but an intense pull, as if something beyond your control is calling for your attention. In Zen teachings, this is seen as the merging of 2 energies. When 2 people think of each other deeply, their thoughts intertwine, creating a resonance that is felt rather than seen. You may notice your mood shifting without explanation, your heartbeat quickening, or an unexplainable warmth washing over you. This is not merely a random thought. It is a silent embrace across distance, a meeting of minds on a plane beyond the physical. Buddha once said, "With our thoughts, we make the world." This suggests that our minds are far more powerful than we realize. In ancient Buddhist texts, there are stories of monks who, through deep meditation, could sense the presence of loved ones from miles away. The mind, when purified and focused, becomes like still water, capable of reflecting even the most distant movements. This is why, when you suddenly think of someone intensely, it might not be just a fleeting thought. It could be a sign that they are reaching out to you in the unseen realm. A well-known Zen anecdote tells of a master and his disciple walking through a forest. The disciple suddenly stopped and said, "Master, I just felt a presence. My brother must be near." The master smiled, knowing that when the heart is truly open, it can sense the unspoken. Moments later, the disciple's brother emerged from the trees. This is the power of deep connection. It is not bound by space nor limited by time. Have you ever felt this sudden pull, only to later confirm that the person was indeed thinking of you or in need of you? Perhaps this is not mere coincidence, but an indication of a connection beyond logic. Synchronicities and mirrored actions. The second undeniable sign of a mental connection manifests in synchronicities. Have you ever been about to text or call someone, only to find that they reached out to you first? Have you ever spoken the same words as another person at the exact same time? Or perhaps, while lost in thought about someone, you turn a corner and unexpectedly encounter them. These moments are not accidents. According to Zen philosophy, when 2 people's thoughts align, the universe arranges encounters, messages, and moments as proof of this unseen connection. Ancient Buddhist wisdom speaks of yugen, a deep awareness of the unseen forces shaping our lives. Just as the wind moves the branches of a tree without being seen, synchronicities reveal the hidden threads binding our existence. The seeker, curious to test this phenomenon, asked the master if there was a way to confirm the existence of such a connection. The master smiled and instructed him to close his eyes, think of the person, and send out the thought, not as a demand, but as a gentle call carried by the wind. Then he was to let it go, trusting that if the connection was real, a sign would soon follow. The master then told a story of an old monk who had a childhood friend he had not seen in decades. One evening, as the monk meditated, an overwhelming feeling of his friend's presence washed over him. He saw an image of his friend smiling, standing by a river they once played by. The next morning, the monk received a letter, the first in years from that very friend, describing a dream in which they had been reunited by the river. Coincidence? Or the unseen forces of connection at work? Even modern psychology acknowledges synchronicities, as Carl Jung described them as meaningful coincidences. Events that, while seemingly random, hold a deep personal significance. In Zen, this is seen as a manifestation of karmic energy aligning in time and space. Synchronicities serve as reminders that we are not as separate as we often believe. The mind is an energy field that extends beyond the physical body, and when two souls share a strong karmic bond, their thoughts and emotions can intertwine, creating moments of perfect alignment. This is why we sometimes know exactly when to call a loved one, or why we meet certain people at just the right moment in our lives. A wandering monk once taught, "The universe whispers before it speaks. Pay attention to the whispers, and you will never be lost." These synchronicities are the universe's whispers, subtle nudges guiding us toward understanding and deeper awareness. Whether they serve to rekindle relationships, confirm an inner knowing, or simply remind us of the interconnectedness of all things, they are not to be ignored. When you next experience a synchronicity, pause and reflect. What is the universe trying to show you? What patterns are emerging in your life? These moments are not random. They are glimpses into a deeper reality, a reminder that every thought, every intention, and every connection leaves an imprint on the vast web of existence. By embracing these signs with an open heart and mind, we allow ourselves to move with the natural flow of the universe rather than against it. When two people are meant to cross paths, they will. When two minds are in harmony, they will find each other. And when we trust in the rhythm of life, we begin to see that the universe has been speaking to us all along. We just needed to listen. The art of letting go. In our modern world, people often cling to thoughts of others, obsessing over whether they are being remembered in return. But Zen wisdom teaches that attachment only creates suffering. A true connection does not need to be forced. If it is meant to exist, it will manifest naturally. When you send out a thought, the key is to release it. Trust that if there is a genuine bond, the universe will respond in its own way, at its own time. A Zen parable tells of a student who came to his master with a closed fist. The master asked, "What are you holding?" The student replied, "A butterfly." The master then asked, "What will happen if you squeeze it too tightly?" "It will die," the student admitted. "And if you let it go?" "It will fly," the student answered. "Exactly," the master said. Love, connection, and all things in life must be allowed to flow freely. Hold too tightly and they suffocate. Release them and they find their way naturally. The lesson is simple, yet deeply profound. Holding on to a thought, a person, or even a past experience with too much force only leads to suffering. Like water held too tightly in our hands, it inevitably slips through our fingers. But when we open our hands, when we trust in the natural course of life, the water remains, flowing freely through us, enriching rather than restricting our experience. In Buddhist philosophy, non-attachment is not about indifference or lack of love. It is about embracing impermanence. The understanding that everything changes and clinging to something only disrupts its natural rhythm. The river never holds on to the rocks it flows past, yet it continues forward, embracing everything in its path. In the same way, our relationships and connections should be allowed to flow naturally, without force or desperation. A few days later, the seeker was walking along a quiet path, reflecting on the lesson. Just then, a familiar voice called his name. Turning, he saw the very person he had been thinking about, standing before him, eyes wide with the same surprise. "I don't know why," they said, "but I suddenly felt like I needed to see you. And here you are." The seeker smiled, remembering the lesson. He had released the thought, trusting in the universe's wisdom. And just like that butterfly, it had found its way back to him, not through force, but through the natural unfolding of life. But what if that person had never appeared? What if the universe had not returned the connection? The true essence of letting go is not just about trusting that what is meant to return will return. It is about being at peace with whatever unfolds. Whether the connection is rekindled or fades into memory, its purpose has already been served. Lao Tzu once said, "When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be." Letting go is not about losing, it is about making space for something greater. Just as the river flows effortlessly to the ocean, life's connections will naturally align when we release our grip on control. In the end, the greatest lesson Zen offers us is this: do not seek, simply be aware. If a connection is true, the universe will find a way to bring it back into your life. If it fades, trust that it was never meant to stay. Let go with grace, and you will always find peace. The universe speaks in subtle signs. If you have ever felt an intense pull towards someone or experienced a strange, undeniable synchronicity, you have touched upon the great mystery of connection. The universe speaks not in loud declarations, but in whispers, subtle hints, and quiet miracles. Those who listen carefully will recognize these signs. The mind is not a prison, it is a bridge. And sometimes that bridge connects two souls thinking of each other at the exact same moment. A Zen master once said, "The leaf does not chase the wind, it simply follows its course." This teaches us that true connection does not need to be forced. When two minds are in harmony, they naturally find their way back to each other. One day, a monk was meditating in solitude when he suddenly felt an overwhelming sense of longing for an old friend. Without knowing why, he offered a prayer of goodwill. The next morning, he received an unexpected letter from that very friend who had written, "I do not know why, but you suddenly came to mind. I felt I had to reach out." Such moments remind us that the universe operates in ways beyond our understanding. The concept of synchronicity is echoed in modern science as well. Quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two particles remain connected no matter how far apart they are, mirrors this deep, invisible bond between minds. If the smallest particles in the universe can be linked across vast distances, why would human consciousness not function in the same way? Consider the countless times you have thought of someone and received an unexpected sign, a song on the radio that reminds you of them, a stranger mentioning their name, or a sudden memory surfacing just as they reach out. These are not coincidences. They are the universe's way of nudging us, of reminding us that we are more connected than we realize. Many dismiss these occurrences as random chance, but ancient wisdom teaches us otherwise. In Buddhist philosophy, everything is interdependent. A single thought can ripple across the fabric of reality, creating waves that touch another person's consciousness. The next time you experience one of these subtle signs, take a moment to acknowledge it. Breathe it in. Smile. Because in that moment, you are witnessing the invisible forces of connection at work. While deep connections are beautiful, wisdom lies in knowing when to hold on and when to let go. Not all thoughts should be chased. Not all connections are meant to last forever. If someone is meant to be in your life, their presence will manifest naturally. If a bond is real, it does not need to be pursued. A wise monk once told his disciple, "Attachment is like a clenched fist. The tighter you hold, the more you suffer. Let go, and your hands are open to receive what life brings." This simple yet powerful teaching reminds us that letting go does not mean losing. It means making space for new experiences, growth, and freedom. Nature itself is a teacher of impermanence. The autumn leaves fall, not because they are pushed away, but because it is their time to let go. The waves kiss the shore and retreat, not out of rejection, but because movement is the nature of life. In the same way, we must embrace the natural ebb and flow of relationships and experiences. Sometimes the person you think of constantly will return, just as the seeker's friend did. Other times they will not. But whether they come back or remain a memory, the important lesson is learning to trust in the flow of life. If you let go with an open heart, what is meant for you will never truly be lost. And so if you ever feel the pain of holding on too tightly, pause, take a deep breath, release your grasp. The universe has a way of aligning things exactly as they should be. The more we trust, the more we open ourselves to the beauty of life's unfolding mysteries. In the end, true peace is found not in clinging, but in surrender. In allowing life to flow, we align ourselves with the deeper wisdom of the universe. If a connection is real, it will never fade. It will only transform. And if it is not meant to last, then its lesson has already been given. So trust. Trust in what has been, in what is, and in what is yet to come. Let go with love, and you will find that what truly belongs to you was never lost at all. This video was brought to you by Buddhist Wisdom Daily. If you found this message meaningful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content exploring Zen and Buddhist teachings. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever experienced an unexplainable connection with someone? Let's reflect together. Until next time, may your mind be at peace and your heart open to the silent whispers of the universe.